Hello, my dear friends. I'm Mr. Sean Rabbit, and I'll tell you terrible stories. In the heart of a bustling city, David lived a seemingly ordinary life. He worked a 9-to-5 job, had a small circle of friends, and enjoyed the comfort of his modest apartment. However, everything changed one fateful evening when he decided to explore an obscure antique shop that had recently opened nearby. Intrigued by a vintage mirror nestled in the corner, he felt inexplicably drawn to it. The ornate frame was stunning, and the glass held a depth that seemed to beckon him closer. After negotiating a price with the shopkeeper, David brought the mirror home, placing it in his living room where it immediately became a focal point. That night, as shadows danced across the walls, David caught a glimpse of something peculiar. In the reflection, he saw not just his own image, but a dark figure standing just behind him, a shadowy silhouette that sent a chill down his spine. He spun around, heart pounding, but the room was empty. Convinced it was just his imagination playing tricks, he shook off the unease and went to bed. Days passed, and the mirror soon became a source of dread. Each time David glanced into it, the figure grew clearer, more defined, its eyes hollow, its mouth curling into a sinister grin. It felt as if the entity was watching him, waiting for something. Sleep-deprived and paranoid, he researched the mirror's history, uncovering tales of its previous owners. Each had met tragic ends, their lives consumed by madness and despair. One stormy night, as lightning illuminated his apartment, David could no longer deny the truth. The figure in the mirror was real. Gripped by a mix of fear and fascination, he leaned closer, entranced by its presence. The reflection shifted, and to his horror, he realized the dark figure was no longer just a spectator. It was mimicking his movements, stepping out of the shadows and closer to the glass. Desperate to escape the nightmare, David covered the mirror with a blanket, hoping to banish the thing that haunted him. But the moment he did, a cold gust of wind swept through the room, and the blanket flew off as if pulled by invisible hands. The figure emerged, stepping into the room with an unnatural grace, its grin widening as David backed away in terror. "You can't hide from me," it hissed, its voice a chilling echo of his own. "I've been waiting for you to see." In a panic, David raced to the door, but the room warped around him, the walls closing in. The figure lunged forward, its icy fingers grazing his skin, and in that moment, David understood the horrifying truth. The mirror was a portal, and he was destined to take its place. As darkness enveloped him, David's screams echoed in the empty apartment, swallowed by the silence. The next day, a new tenant moved in, blissfully unaware of the antique mirror standing proudly in the living room, reflecting a life that once was. And in the glass, a familiar figure watched, waiting patiently for the next soul to claim.